Hey everyone, welcome to another video. So in this video we'll talk about UseState hook. So the React UseState hook allows us to keep track of the state in our React component. The state are generally refers to all the data and property that we need to keep track of in our application. Okay, so first of all let's talk about the syntax of the UseState hook. So it goes like this: const we're gonna use the concept of array destructuring. That means the UseState hook. Okay, let me just comment this out. So first of all, I said that it returns an array, the UseState hook, and inside the UseState hook you pass the initial state of your the initial value of your state. Sorry. Okay. And it returns an array. In the array there are basically two things. First of all, it's the current value of the state, current value, and the second thing that it sends is the setter function for updating this value of the state. Okay, setter function. So this is the syntax of your UseState hook. First of all, let's import the UseState hook from React. Okay, then let's just write something. Okay, I'm gonna name it as state. This is the name of our variable or our state. You can give this any name. You can write it age. Okay, so I'm just writing state here. And the setter function, usually the naming convention goes by you have to add a prefix set. Okay, and whatever the name of your variable is, write it as it is. Just write the first alphabet in uppercase. Now let's just use state, and the initial value can be anything. It can be any boolean value, it can be any string, it can be any number. So let's start off with the number. Okay, and let's just write state here. I'm gonna add a button here. Now this button says increase. Okay, and let's add an on-click event. Now this will set state. So what I want that whenever I click on this button, the value of the number increases, like the 0 becomes 1, 1 becomes 2. So we just have to pass the new updated value in the set state. Okay, so the new updated value would be previous value or the current value plus 1. Okay, let's close this button here. Okay, let's see. When I click on this button, you can see the value is increasing. Let's see how it works when the state is a string. Okay, let's remove everything. Instead of button, I'm just going to write input, and it will be a self-closing tag. Instead of on click, I'm going to write on change, and the set state would be e.target.value. Okay, let's see. Whenever I write something, you can see it is being displayed here. And similarly it goes with boolean as well. You're just gonna have to write false. And in case of let's just add button here again, and let's write something for button. I'm gonna say change or flip. So okay, let's use a destructuring here. Okay, let's use a destructuring. If state is true, okay, then you have to return h1 tag, and it should say true. And if it's false, return false. Alright, so first of all, initially it's false, obviously, when I click on flip. Okay, so I have to change the state as well. So it's very easy. Just add a not sign here and write state here. Let's see. should be on click instead of on change. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's working perfectly fine. So there you go. You can have these as boolean, as string, as number. Okay, now the next concept is updating state based on the previous state. For that, let's go to our first example, that was of the counter. Let's just have increase. So instead of increase, I'm just gonna write +3. Okay, and let's just have the state here only. Okay, and instead of here on click, so here we want state +1. Let's just copy this 3 times. Okay, now let's see if it's working or not. So when I click on +3, you can see still it is increasing by 1 only. So why is this happening? So according to React, what is happening is that this all these three statements, what does they mean? So every time this is being called, here the value of state is being considered as 0. So every time it is 0 + 1, 0 + 1 here, 0 + 1 here. So we are just setting the value of state 1 3 times. Why is happening? Because it's gonna update, the React doesn't update the value while it is running. So what we have to do is we have to store this. Okay, we have to store this value somehow. So what we are going to do is we are going to use concept of updater function. How we are going to use that? We're going to say it takes an argument state and it returns state +1. Same thing for 3 times here. Okay, now what is happening here? Here the set function, which was not getting updated in already running code, here what happens is it's gonna take the previous state, here state, and calculates the next state from it. So it's gonna return this state, the one, suppose it is 0 here, it's gonna return 1 here, and in the next setter function, whenever the next setter function is used, it's gonna consider 1 here. Okay, so that is how it is happening. It is gonna be 0 + 1 here. Okay, 0 + 1 here, and when it gets updated, it's gonna be 1 + 1 here, and in the next step it's gonna be 2 + 1 here. So let's reload our app and let's see if it's working. So you can see it is working perfectly fine. Now we can also have the objects and arrays, the iterables, as our state. Okay, so what we have to do then? Let's just check it out. So I'm gonna write it an object here. Okay, and in object I'm just gonna write what can we write? Let's say name, it's empty string. Another thing, let's write email, another empty string. Next, what we can do is let's just move everything and let's go label, name, input, value is equals to state dot name on change event listener e Now here it becomes interesting. You have to write set state. Okay, set state, and inside set state you don't have to write everything. You're gonna use the concept of spread operator, and using that we're gonna say state. Now this line means keep everything same, but just change the value of name. That means the name property should be changed, rest everything remains same. So here we can write e dot target dot value. Okay, Then I think label is not being closed here, so let's just close the label here. And this is for the input. Okay, so it goes names. Now again same thing for email as well. Let's just change here email. Here state.email. Here email as well. I think that would be all. Okay, so one closing label is missing, I think. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's just display all these values. Okay, state dot name, state dot email. Okay, let's check, write something here. You can see it is getting updated here if I write email. Okay, let's just add a br tag here so that we can see it clearly. Okay, so that is how you can use objects as the state. Okay, if your state as an object, you can use this hook like this. And if it's an array, so suppose your state is an array. Okay, let's just take an example 1, 2, 3. Okay, and let's just add an unordered list here. Inside this we're gonna use state dot map value, and we're gonna return the li tag. Inside that we're gonna say val. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And above that we're just gonna add a button. Just gonna say add. It's gonna have an on click listener. Okay, on click listener. Now what we aim to do is first of all you're gonna call set state, and inside set state you're gonna pass an array. Okay, what we know is that inside set function we have to pass the new value of the state that we want. So we want an array, and in that array we want previous values or the present value which we have now, and apart from that we want whatever the length of an array is plus 1. Okay, we have to set it like this. Let's see if it's working or not. You're going to click add, and you can see that whenever I click, the next number in the sequence is added in an array. So the main point that we have to remember is that we're going to use this spread operator here to consider all the previous values that are already in the array, and then we're going to add our new value. So that is how an array as in state works. Okay, that will be all for this UseState video. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and like this video and share it with your friends. Thank you.